Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Get ready. Tonight we pull back the curtain on serious Hollywood drama. You know, we see these actors on the big screen. They're charming, they're funny, they're saving the world, but what happens when the cameras stop rolling? Sometimes things get a little tense. It's like a big family dinner. You love everyone, but sometimes you just want to flip the table. Not just a spat over the last role. A full-blown on-set meltdown. We've dug deep into the gossip columns, the tell-all interviews, the behind-the-scenes whispers to bring you the top 10 actors who reportedly, allegedly, clashed with not just one co-star, but pretty much the entire cast. Grab your popcorn, get comfortable, let's dive into Tinseltown's juiciest stories. All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, kicking off our list at number 10, we have an actor who is, without a doubt, incredibly talented. We're talking about Edward Norton, Primal Fear Fight Club Birdman. You see him on screen and you know you're in for a masterful performance. But there's a persistent rumor in Hollywood that his passion for the craft can sometimes bubble over. He's known for being very hands-on, wanting to be involved in the script, the editing, you name it. He's like that friend who comes over to help you build IKEA furniture and ends up rewriting the entire instruction manual. This reputation really came to a head during the filming of The Incredible Hulk. When it came time for the Avengers, Marvel famously recast the role, Kevin Feige citing the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members. It seems in this case, Norton's desire for control ended up hulking out a little too much for Marvel's taste, leaving a trail of on-set tension and a major what-if in the MCU. Next up, at number 9, we have a true comedy legend. A guy who was part of the original cast of Saturday Night Live. We're talking about Chevy Chase. With Caddyshack, National Lampoon's Vacation, and Fletch, he defined a whole era of comedy. The story started way back in his SNL days, and when he came back to host, things got ugly. There are famous stories of him getting into a backstage fistfight with Bill Murray. Can you imagine that? Two comedy giants literally duking it out behind the Weekend Update desk. Fast forward a few decades to the beloved sitcom community. Chevy was cast as the out-of-touch, problematic millionaire Pierce Hawthorne. Reports began to surface of on-set arguments between Chevy and the show's creator, Dan Harmon. It all came to a head when he used a racial slur on set, which was the final straw. It's a classic case where the funniest guy in the room might also be the hardest one to be in the room with. Coming in at number 8 is an actress who, for a time, was America's sweetheart, Katherine Heigl. She won our hearts as Izzy Stevens on Grey's Anatomy. She made us laugh in movies like Knocked Up. She was on top of the world, talented. In an interview with Vanity Fair, she called the movie a little sexist, saying it paints the women as shrews, as humorless and uptight. Her co-star Seth Rogen and director Judd Apatow were reportedly hurt and confused by the comments. She publicly announced that she had withdrawn her name from consideration for that year's awards. Why? Because she felt she was not given the material this season to warrant an Emmy nomination. It was seen as a massive slap in the face to showrunner Shonda Rhimes and the entire writing staff. Shonda Rhimes later spoke about a no Heigls policy on her sets, emphasizing the importance of a professional, collaborative environment. Katherine herself has since expressed regret over how she handled those situations, admitting that her delivery was a little much and that she could have been more private with her criticisms. At number 7, we have an absolute titan of acting, a legend, the man who changed the game, Marlon Brando. We're talking On the Waterfront, a streetcar named Desire the Godfather. His influence is truly immeasurable. Take Apocalypse Now. The production was a complete and utter nightmare. He showed up in the Philippines severely overweight, even though Kurtz was supposed to be gaunt and wiry. He hadn't read Heart of Darkness, or even looked at the script. Coppola spent days reading the story to him, basically halting production. On the island of Dr. Moreau, he refused to learn his lines, so he had them fed through an earpiece. At one point, he insisted on wearing an ice bucket on his head during a scene. With Brando, you were rolling the dice, a legendary performance or a man with an ice bucket on his head. Our number 6 pick is a bona fide action hero, the guy who made Yippee-Ki-Yay a household phrase. It's Bruce Willis. Die Hard, Pulp Fiction, The Sixth Sense. he has that everyman, movie star charisma. A famous example, Cop Out, 2010, directed by Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, fanboy turned critic after the film. Smith called the experience soul-crushing. Allegation, refused to take direction. Allegation, wouldn't say lines as written. Roots go back to moonlighting in the 80s. Famous for sizzling chemistry with Sybil Shepherd, also famous for epic off-camera feuds. Important sad context. In 2022, Willis retired after an aphasia diagnosis. Text overlay, Bruce Willis, aphasia diagnosis, retirement, 2022. Still, Willis's name was linked to blockbuster action and a reputation for being tough to work with. Coming in at number 5, an actress with a powerhouse voice and a commanding stage presence, we're talking about Lea Michele. She shot to superstardom as the ambitious Rachel Berry, the uber-talented Rachel Berry, singing on the cultural phenomenon that was Glee. Her character was known for being a bit of a diva who would stop at nothing to get the lead role. For years, rumors simmered that the line between Rachel Berry and Lea Michele was pretty blurry, but in 2020, the floodgates opened. It started when Lea tweeted in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Her former Glee co-star Samantha Ware responded directly to the tweet. She accused Lea of making her life a living hell. It was like a dam breaking. One by one, other Glee cast members started to either like Ware's comments or share their own negative stories. Lea Michele did issue a public apology. It became a major story about accountability and the alleged dark side of a beloved show, all centered around its lead star. At number 4, one of the most intense and enigmatic actors of his generation, Shia LaBeouf. From a Disney kid on Even Stevens to a blockbuster star in Transformers and a respected indie actor in Honey Boy and the Peanut Butter Falcon. His talent is, honestly, undeniable. Take the 2012 film Lawless. Shia played a tough bootlegger during Prohibition. To get into character, he reportedly drank moonshine constantly and gained a significant amount of weight. His co-star Mia Wasikowska was so alarmed by his aggressive, erratic behavior that she actually tried to quit the film. Even Tom Hardy, no stranger to intense roles, admitted that Shia once knocked him out cold during production. For the World War II movie Fury, directed by David Ayer, he was playing a tank gunner, and to understand the character's trauma, he reportedly pulled out one of his own teeth. He also allegedly cut his face with a knife repeatedly to make his war wounds look authentic, and refused to shower for weeks to simulate the living conditions of a soldier in a tank. Director David Ayer even had to move him to a separate hotel away from the other actors. It's a fine line between genius and chaos, and Shia LaBeouf, well, he loves to dance all over it. Coming in hot at number 3 is one of the stars of a show that absolutely dominated television in the 2000s. I'm talking about Teri Hatcher from Desperate Housewives. The show was all about the secrets and lies hiding behind the perfect picket fences of Wisteria Lane. But it turns out, the biggest drama wasn't in the script. The on-set feuds between the lead actresses were the stuff of Hollywood legend. Reports placed Teri Hatcher right at the center of the storm, allegedly isolated from the rest of her castmates. The most famous incident, the 2005 Vanity Fair cover shoot. The magazine wanted the 4 housewives photographed, but reportedly instructed that Teri not be centered or get first pick of wardrobe. The set was so tense, Marcia Cross allegedly stormed off when Teri ended up in the center. High school cafeteria drama on a major magazine cover. Over 8 seasons, the frostiness allegedly never thawed. When the show wrapped, the cast bought thank you gifts for the crew, and Teri's name was left off the card. Eva Longoria later called Teri a loner and hinted at bullying. Nicolette Sheridan even called Teri the meanest woman in the world during her lawsuit. Our runner-up for the most difficult co-star at number 2 is an Oscar-winning actor and rock star known for his complete and total transformations, Jared Leto. Whether he's gaining 60 pounds for one role or losing 40 for another, his dedication is off the charts. He is a hardcore method actor, staying in character for the entire duration of a film's production. But his methods on the set of the 2016 DC movie Suicide Squad went from dedicated to downright disturbing. Leto was tasked with playing the Joker. This meant he never broke character. Will Smith, who played Deadshot, said he never actually met Jared Leto during the entire production, only the Joker. It was about the gifts he sent to his castmates to, in his mind, create a sense of anarchy and unpredictability. He sent Margot Robbie, who played Harley Quinn, a live rat. He sent bullets to Will Smith, and most infamously, he sent the entire cast a dead pig. He also sent them used condoms and anal beads. Viola Davis said that while she didn't receive any of the grossest gifts, his behavior made her feel a little less safe, and that it was a little worrisome. It's a case of method acting going so extreme that it borders on harassment. And here we are. The #1 spot on our list of actors who clashed with their entire cast goes to a man who was one of the biggest heartthrobs and movie stars of the 80s and 90s, Val Kilmer. From Top Gun to Tombstone to The Doors, he had this incredible intensity and charisma. He was cool, he was talented, and he was a bona fide movie star. On the set of Batman Forever, he reportedly clashed so badly with director Joel Schumacher that they had a shouting match. And at one point, Kilmer refused to speak to him for 2 weeks. Schumacher later called him childish and impossible. He also apparently had a habit of putting out cigarettes on crew members and being rude to anyone he deemed beneath him. But the peak of his difficult behavior might have been on the set of that infamous production, The Island of Dr. Moreau. Well, Val Kilmer was his co-star, and apparently they hated each other. Kilmer reportedly showed up with a 40-page document detailing his character's backstory, which he expected everyone to adhere to, who famously said, "There are 2 things I will never do in my life. I will never climb Mount Everest, and I will never work with Val Kilmer again," earning him the top spot on our list. And there you have it, folks. 10 of the most legendary stories of on-set clashes in Hollywood history. It's pretty wild to think about what goes on behind the scenes of our favorite movies and TV shows. There are always multiple sides to every story, and what one person sees as difficult, another might see as passionate. Creative people are complex, and the pressure of a movie set can bring out the best, and sometimes the absolute worst in people. But I want to know what you guys think. Were you shocked by any of these? Do you think these actors were justified, or did they go too far? Are there any other actors you've heard stories about that you think should have been on this list? Drop all your thoughts, your opinions, your own Hollywood stories down in the comments section below. I love reading what you all have to say, and it's always fun to get a good discussion going. This stuff is just endlessly fascinating, isn't it? Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today and diving into this Hollywood drama. Please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.